Welcome to the Veterans Cafe podcast, where we talk about issues surrounding veterans and soldiers, as well as current events in the world.
Sometimes we interview guests and organizations, but more than anything, we are here for you.
Welcome to another Veterans Cafe podcast. I'm Wes.
I'm Tracy.
And today we had the opportunity to talk to
Two veterans.
An instructor named Don, and then El Presidente.
They were both so awesome. We found out that they met in Iraq, which I think is so awesome and so sweet. I mean, probably not the most ideal setting, but anyway, I think it's pretty awesome that they met and they have kids. And we were fearful during this podcast interview that they were going to come in with a battering ram, but they didn't. So it's awesome. But we had dogs everywhere. So anyway, I enjoyed talking to them. I got to meet them recently on a mission for Combat Camera. And anyway, I'll let my husband talk about it.
So they're actually the founders and owners of a company called the D-Day Response Group. And what it really is, it's pretty awesome. It's a group of veterans, and they're all former special forces who have gotten together and created these courses for basically any type of military, both veterans and currently serving military, as well as paramedics, firefighters, law enforcement, anyone with that type of background. And essentially, it's just teaching them what they call tactical medicine.
Yeah, the course was a tactical combat casualty care, right? Or TCCC.
Yeah.
Which is like, I guess everybody calls it that. All the cool people. Anyway, it was very inspiring to me, and all the amount of knowledge on this team was impressive. And I definitely want my husband to participate or at least observe a class in the future, because he's obviously a badass as well. So anyway, without any further ado,
here's Don and Cecilia of the D-Day Response Group.
The president.
El Presidente. Okay, well, again, we appreciate you guys being with us today. So, I don't even think I caught your name, actually. I think Don he just said my wife, the president. He just said the president and my wife, and that was all I ever heard.
I turned him that way. Not a president or, hey, honey. So, no, my name is Cecilia Deo.
Cecilia. Did I meet you there? Were you there?
I was there.
I had to leave a little bit early, so I might have missed you entirely. But my name is Tracy.
Yeah, no, I saw you. I always show up kind of at the end of the second day to just kind of stand on the sidelines and watch and make sure.
Crack the whip.
No. It's going smoothly, and I can really tell I've been to enough of these. I can see when students are getting lost or, and I like to see just from my perspective that the light bulbs are coming on, because that's what I look for, is to make sure that everyone's absorbing and they're going to leave with a positive experience underneath them. So.
Well, so being the brains behind the operation, exactly what is it you guys do there?
So, I guess as far as what Tracy was there for, that was our TCCC class. Mm-hmm. And so we teach military, law enforcement, medical professionals, SWAT team. Pretty much anybody that's law enforcement certified in the military or has a medical background. We teach them tactical combat casualty care. And so the first day is all instruction, classroom instruction.
First day is basically PowerPoint and skill stations. And we go over everything, and it is a nationally accredited program, and they receive national certification. So, there are certain blocks that have to be checked and make sure that, everybody's performing the skills at a certain level. And then the second day is where we really do something a little different than pretty much any other program I've ever been to or heard of. And what we do is we do the whole second day out on the range. We do a lot of patient movement out on the range. Sometimes we include the berms, where you go up and over the berm carrying patients. We put them in kind of stressful situations while they're doing the skill sets that they learned on the first day. And then once we feel like they're kind of at that point where they're ready to move to the live fire lanes, we start live fire. And that is something that normally you would see in like special operations units only. Some law enforcement do it, like SWAT teams and stuff. But even right now, the majority of students that we have, unless they're from the military special operations side, they've never seen anything like it. It just really changes the stress levels, and we can really help them zero in on performing just like these really important point of injury care skills that save lives in the first couple minutes of a medical crisis. So that's really, what we do in the 2-day course.
So yeah, I show up to the second day because I feel like that's when everything comes together. All the little things that they've been learning in the classroom and at the skill stations, it all comes together at this one moment where you just see all the light bulbs come on. And I think that's what I get a lot of feedback from, as the president, of the company, just to make sure that it's all coming together the right way.
I see. So are you also the enforcer? Are you like walking up and telling people that you're recycled? No, you need to start over.
She does. I'll call her Madam President.
No.
Well,
I was talking to my mentor the other day, like, it's pretty tough to be the president of this company because I'm working with the most highly experienced guys who have just, years and deployments, and their backgrounds are just so intense that sometimes I find it hard to be the president because I respect them so much. I feel like I should be working for them. You know what I mean? Like,
So have you personally gone through the training? Has your husband had an opportunity to be the president for 2 days?
No, that is it.
I have to say, I was incredibly impressed. I mean, it's different from my point of view because I wasn't in the class. So I was just basically sent to document it. But as looking at it from like my lens, and of course being in the Army and going through CLS and things like that with the Army, and of course endless PowerPoints about, just any kind of Army training, I have to say, as a person with the camera, I was incredibly impressed. Just the amount of knowledge and professionalism that was there was really impressive. And I mentioned it to my husband, and, we're really thankful that you could be on the podcast because I could tell just by looking at the instructors, just the amount of knowledge that you have is incredibly impressive. And I love that it's, for first responders and it's for veterans. And I don't even know how to say how impressive we thought it was.
Oh, I love hearing that. I mean, it's something I really knew we were onto something when my husband one day just invites all of his buddies that he has known forever and served with and fought with and deployed with. And they all get together, and it just dawns on me, like, this is the business that we should be in. It should be something where it's for veterans, by veterans, that, really can just improve the society, in America. Because I think that we just offer all these skills that people in general really need to know. And I think veterans struggle so much trying to fit into, once they get out of the military, trying to fit into, the American job landscape, that we created D-Day so that they could take what they've already known and kind of use it as a force for good to teach other people. And, I love that about what we have created at D-Day. It's my favorite part about it.
Our main focus, one of the neat things is all of our backgrounds. I mean, my background personally is Army Special Forces. And for about the first 7 or 8 years, I was an 18 Bravo, so I was a weapons sergeant. Mm-hmm. And, of course, deploying a lot of South America, Central America stuff, learning Spanish. And it was a really cool, neat, hero stuff. And the whole time I had in the back of my head while we were doing this stuff, I watched, like, some of the medics that we had on the team, and I said, man, these guys are just, they're the ones that are going to take care of us, like our guys. On the civilian side, it's really interesting because a lot of people become paramedics to take care of other people, or, sometimes it's even like, hey, man, that's a great job. I should jump in that. But what I noticed in special operations is you become a medic, because you want to be the one that's counted on to take care of your own guys.
Right.
So that was something that I really wanted to do. So I got approved to reclass as an 18 Delta and become a Green Beret medic. And that course is just amazing. I did that for about 8 or 9 years, several deployments, and it was my time to get promoted. So even when I became an 18 Zulu, which is a team sergeant, and basically took over the team that I was on, it was so important to maintain those medical certifications and qualifications, because every person that we had on the team that had that extra set of skills, even though everybody was a shooter, everybody had a specialty skill. When a medical crisis happens, whether it's on the military side in combat while you're deployed, or even a civilian, on the civilian side in a training accident, everybody, that has that medical piece can jump in. So
well, speaking of all the other instructors you guys have there, what other? I looked on your website briefly, and I saw it looked like you guys have quite a diverse bit of background coming from all these different guys. So, what other kind of skills do these guys bring to the table?
Basically, we have several 18 series guys, which is Army Special Forces guys, from communicators that are cross-trained as medics, and also weapon sergeants, which is key to running a safe range on the second day when we do live fire training. It's really important to be able to have the skill set to evaluate, shooters in a very short time to ensure that, we're not going above their skill level, but we're also pushing them and keeping them right at that threshold so that it's just stressful enough, that we can test them and really have them grasp these new skills and knowledge. And also, recently, we have a guy from a naval special operations background, which also comes to us with several years of civilian police officer and SWAT and sniper experience, and is also a tactical medic on his team with his department in Northern Florida. And he just, just another thing, like you said, very diverse. It's just awesome to bring, all of it together, and it all just meshes really well to produce a course and students coming out the other side that are really prepared and confident to face the next challenge or save the next life.
So, so you talked earlier, the president spoke earlier a little bit about, about how you guys were getting together, and this kind of just came to her, but, how exactly did this whole thing start? Did you just have the idea and pitch it, or did you just whip these guys into shape and be like, be here at whatever time on this day and we're going to start doing something?
No, the idea just kind of fell into our lap. My husband had been invited by a guy who's now my business mentor on a kind of veterans fishing trip. And he went on this really nice yacht in South Florida. And I guess the owner had said, I've got this great boat and this great captain. But a few weeks ago, I had been involved in this emergency, and we kind of realized that nobody on the boat knew what to do. And I have this huge duffel bag full of medical supplies, but nobody knows how to use them. Wow. And he had asked Don, do you have anything, any kind of training or anything that you could teach my captain? So Don went down there and he kind of looked at what was in the duffel bag and made a kind of impromptu kit that he should keep on his boat. And went down and trained the captain real informally. I think it was 2 or 3 hours. Mm-hmm. And that guy, the owner, his name is Scott Adams, he is actually really involved in helping entrepreneurship through Florida Atlantic University, where I go to school. And he called us and he goes, I think you could have a business here. So I did a bunch of research and saw that there was this huge market for emergency medical training, that we could take something special, pluck all this training and information out of the guy's head and revamp it a little bit for the everyday civilian. And so that's kind of how we got started, was train boat captains and regular civilians in emergency medicine in a way that they'd never seen it before, because really as a civilian, all you can do is get like CPR and AED training. There's not much more that's offered until you get to EMT school, and that's like, a semester long. So, we just saw a huge hole and a huge need for people to understand and to be able to respond to their loved ones and their family members in a crisis. And so that's kind of how we started out. And the TCCC and stuff like that for veterans is just a natural extension of the guys' knowledge, because they've been through all that stuff in the military. They just made the course, 1,000 times better, with the live fire and the interactive workshops and stuff.
Oh, sorry. Well, of course I'm going to interrupt you, right?
The other president likes to speak now.
I love it.
It's just the way it is. But I was impressed with the the tools that you had, like the pork butt, like the purpose for that and seeing that. I thought was impressive. I've never seen that before. I mean, I've only been in the Army for 6 years, but I hadn't seen that before. So I thought that was amazing. And then the material that you had, the head, like the first day, that everybody could practice, the tracheotomy on. I thought that was incredibly impressive because it looked and felt like a person. So I was just curious if you wanted to talk a little bit about where that comes from.
Yeah, I will tell you that in several of our first civilian courses, whether on the marine industry or, our emergency lifesaver course, when you bring out a pork butt, people kind of immediately they either get freaked out or they're like, sweet, are we poking is it graduation already? And they're great. But what we basically did was work very hard to mimic some of the things that I, learned and a lot of the other special operations medics learned over the years. And what we felt was some of the best training was, where it was as dynamic and stressful and realistic as possible. And one of the things that, on the civilian side, even paramedics, when you go to paramedic school, it's not until you get on the trucks and start doing ride time until you start an actual IV, So it's they really do not let you kind of fly free. Yeah, you really don't dive in. Like in the military, it's completely different. It's like, okay, you just had a block of instruction. Now you're going to stick needles in each other,
right,
and you're like, wait, that was long. But in some cases, that is absolutely the best way to learn. You learn a lot faster. You learn your do's and don'ts. And so the pork butt is a part of that realism where I can make wounds look very real. We can actually have the bleeding. I'm sure you saw, there's a couple different ways we do it. We use a blood bucket, which is a big 5-gallon bucket full of, fake blood with tubes running into a mannequin or tubes running down the clothing of, actually a human patient. We use the pork butt not only to make the wounds, but also I think you were there for the portion where we do the wound cavitation exercise where we shoot the pork butt with different caliber weapons. And we can really show how, the entry wound is usually a lot of times very small, depending on the weapon and ammo and all that. But a lot of times when the bullet, strikes the bone and you get that bone involvement, there is a large exit wound and a lot of blood, bleeding and a lot of blood vessels involved. And that's really where a lot of this, tourniquets to stop the bleeding and wound packing and using hemostatic gauze, to actually clot the bleeder. That's where all that comes in. And in the military, it's very prevalent after so many years of combat, Afghanistan and Iraq. But in the civilian side, really large fire departments and EMS and law enforcement are just now, in the last couple of years, it's starting to trickle in there.
And I think that's one of those kind of light bulb moments that I love to see on our students' faces, is that, we train in these kind of environments where you're using like one of the training skill stations, which is a pugil stick with a wrapping on the end. And it's all good and fine, and it's really neat and it's different. But when you see like skin and flesh and bone, and you see that exit wound, that in anybody else's training, you wouldn't see that until someone had actually been shot.
I know,
So
it was amazing.
Yeah, it's a way to expose somebody to what it will actually look like before the emergency happens, and it's just like. It's such an incredible thing to see everyone's face, and it's just like, this is amazing. And, it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, no, I thought it was impressive because, you talked about like the tissue burning, because, it had like the, like the black marks on it. I just thought it was interesting just because it's something I hadn't seen before. So I thought that was impressive. And, as I said before, the first day when you had like, that head, with whatever kind of material that is, it was a little creepy,
It's a Sendaver, so you can practice surgical airways, and it's actually, it feels real, it looks real. And when you put somebody in a stressful environment and it's used properly, I have been to courses where they have that same tool, but they have not replaced certain pieces, for each student to get the same effect. And that's so important to us, okay, it costs a couple dollars for each, extra little bit of material to make it realistic for everybody, not just the first person that goes through it. And in a class of 10 or 15 or 20, it's so important that, the last couple students aren't getting, the raw end of the deal here where they don't do it and it's not realistic to them. So that's, and that goes hand in hand with all the supplies that we use. Everybody, I don't know if you noticed while you were there, but everybody has their own kit that is supplied by us for the course. And we encourage them to use the bandages in that kit. Use all the dressings in that kit. We want you to work out of that kit and open it, see what it's like. We don't want the first time that you ever see this piece of equipment or this product to be when it's actually, your family member or friend or even a bystander in a major incident. It's the first time that you've seen it, because normally after you've used it once or twice or 5 times, which is ideal, you got some muscle memory.
So you guys, I know that I was looking and like you said, you guys have this sort of civilian course, where they basically start from scratch, right? They know nothing, zero, right off the street. Do you guys have a lot of people that continue on and maybe move on to the more advanced stuff that veterans may already be doing, where they're starting out from?
Yeah, basically, and this is something that we learned pretty quick is we would love to run, just jump right into like a 2-day course that, civilians could jump into, but you really have to vet, people that are coming to the course and make sure that, they at least know, basic firearm safety and, because you are doing movement drills on the range, it's pretty advanced stuff. So what we've done is we have a half-day course, which is a requirement in order to come to the full-day course, which the afternoon of the full-day course, if it's out on the range, is live fire. And that way we can kind of work with somebody first. They learn the basics of bleeding control and certain patient care under stressful environments. And then we kind of know at least what we're dealing with, prior to them getting there. And there's also several things. I know if when you were out on the range, if you might have saw, like, we kind of go through some real fundamental live fire stuff before we actually start the scenarios.
Yeah, no, it's great. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I was just going to say, from where I was, with the camera, looking for different shots, I was really impressed with just the amount of
like awareness that there was, like I've been on quite a few, ranges in my time in the Army, and there was definitely a high level of control because, everybody was having fun and laughing, which I think part of that is, the first responder, veteran, soldier kind of, like sense of humor. So it was awesome. But there was also a lot of seriousness because it was like, okay, we're going to go through a dry run, and is everybody ready for the dry run? Okay, now we're going through, I don't know. I just felt like I felt very safe. And I know there was actually one instance where, me with the camera, like I was like, oh, there's smoke. I put myself in a place that I shouldn't have put myself in because there was live fire. And it was impressive because instantly, two different of your controls were like, oh my God, get the heck out of there. And, which is the way it's supposed to be. So I was really impressed with the safety and the professionalism. And, hopefully, we can go back soon and document a little bit more just to help spread, your business, because I think there's quite a few people who could benefit from the training, veterans and what have you.
I think our students, the youngest one, I think, has been 12, and the eldest was 65. There's literally a place for everyone in one of our classes. There is no one out there that couldn't benefit from this training. Even if you were a doctor, at the highest levels, you can benefit from honing your trauma skills in a stressful environment. And, like little kids, sometimes they're the best students because they have no bad habits or preconceived notions about what they should and shouldn't do. So their little minds are like sponges, and they soak, everything they tell, everything the guys tell them right up because, here they are getting taught these special skills from America's heroes. And that really is pretty unique and special for them.
So what's the best way for these guys to get a hold of you? I mean, I know you guys have a website. Do you guys do any kind of community events? Do you do anything like that, or any kind of outreach of any kind, or is it just through your website or a phone number? What's the best way for people to find out more about you guys?
Yeah, well, absolutely. As far as the community service is, we do. We've actually trained, volunteered and trained some of the Girls and Boys Club here, Boy Scouts. We're actually scheduled this month to train one of the Montessori schools locally here. And tomorrow we're actually going to a Freedom Fighter Outdoors event, which is 7 or 8 sport fish boats in South Florida that take disabled veterans and, wounded warriors out on fishing trips. And we got invited to this, and we're just so honored to be able to be a part of that.
So as far as getting in touch with you guys, though, is there any way that people can, not just doing the courses and everything, but is there any way people can get involved with you in any kind of way with this kind of stuff?
As far as taking the courses, you can absolutely reach us through the website. And then we're super active on Instagram and Facebook. So I think those are the best ways to get a hold of us.
Great. Well, we'll make sure that we actually. I guess I'll have to hunt you down on Instagram. I'm not an Instagram person, man. The president takes care of the Instagram side of things.
I love Insta.
Well, when I take care of Instagram, you can see that it's like 2 weeks since your last post, and I get in a lot of trouble. And then it's supposed to be like 1 or 2 days since your last post.
Yeah.
But if anyone wants to get in touch with us and they go on our website, which is d-dey.com. They can email to admin@dday.com. And also they can email me directly at Don, D-O-N, @dday.com. So we'd love to hear from everybody.
Great. Well, we definitely appreciate you guys coming on. And if it actually looks like we might be out there again at some point soon, or she might, maybe I can join her, and maybe we can actually sit down and do this in person and have some fun actually talking face to face.
Yeah, we would love that. We have the facility. We're actually looking at March 31st and April 1st as our next 2-day course. Mm-hmm. And the location, I'm sure she told you, it's amazing. It's a 340-acre, basically gun club, gun ranges. March 12th, it's the OK Corral Gun Club in Okeechobee, Florida. Mm-hmm. And they're going to have cabins done so students can actually stay on site.
That's for the half-day course, March 12th.
How fun. That sounds yeah, this is a beautiful place.
Yeah, and then March 3rd.
Paradise. It's so nice.
It really is.
And the next 2-day course is the March 31st and April 1st. But we'll keep you in the loop on that. We'd love to have you come out there. I think you'd really enjoy it. It's a great location, and we'd love to sit down and do this in person as well.
Yeah, and we always love feedback. I mean, after every class we do an AAR, and usually we'll follow up with an email, so we can always get better. I think innovation is one of our, I would say, core values, is that we're always looking to hone our classes and be better than we were the last time. So even if you just wanted to come and observe, that you'd be welcome to.
Well, if I find my way down there's no way I could just come down there and not actually do the course. I mean, come on, I need to brush the rust off of these old rusty hands too. So,
so we bring you from zero to hero.
That's awesome.
Well, I'll have the hero carry me, or the president. I don't know which one, but I'm sure I'll definitely learn a lot of great stuff. But we definitely appreciate you guys coming on and taking a little time to spend with us here.
Oh, we appreciate it. We were kind of excited like this. We just started listening to podcasts ourselves. So This is really a cool opportunity, and I hope we answer all your questions.
Yeah.
No, yeah, definitely. And that's awesome. You guys should start a podcast.
You really should.
We're thinking about a newsletter or some kind of monthly thing that we could do to put out to our clients and kind of keep still sharp.
Maybe even a blog. I don't know if you've considered a blog already.
Yeah, we have, but then unfortunately, my employee.
That's another thing that Madam President, I don't have. There's only 24 hours in every day, and I've used 26. And most days I'm overdrawn.
Yeah, but come on, blogs are so early 2000s. Don, if I can talk the president into a podcast, you can do it too. You just got to have that pitch ready.
That'd be cool. I think it's awesome, and I mean honestly, when you're passionate about, we're so passionate about this stuff. We want to get the word out to everybody and talk about all this stuff and get feedback. We love it. So yeah, I think that would be awesome if we could do that. And that's a great idea. We'll definitely consider that.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you ever need our free consulting services, you just reach out to us. We'll tell you everything you need to know.
You are recording this, right? You said free consulting service.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But I also have the power to edit. I just want to throw that out there.
So silly. No, thank you both very much. I mean, we're here to help veterans in every way. And after spending 2 days with you, I was really impressed. And I just wanted to make sure that, first responders and veterans in your area and the Okeechobee, Florida area just were aware that you were there. So, because I think a lot of people could benefit from what you're offering. And I was just really impressed. And thank you both for being on.
Thank you. That's our priority. I mean, D-Day is all about saving lives, and then just as equally important is helping veterans in that transition from military life into civilian life and giving them jobs that they can feel validated. And I think we're succeeding. I mean, I see the guys, the team, the instructors have such an amazing bond, and every time they get out on that range to teach together, it's like a little mini reunion, and, that's why they show up to do it. And that's why the civilians get so much out of it. Our students they leave and they rave about it. And, we haven't done any advertising. It's all been word of mouth. I think that's why.
Agree.
For sure. And again, we appreciate you taking a little bit of time out of your busy schedule to be here with us. But so thanks again, and I look forward to talking to you guys again soon.
That sounds good. It's our pleasure. Take care.
Thank you, guys. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. All right, so thank you guys for listening to another episode of the Veterans Cafe podcast. Don't forget to head over to iTunes and give us a review. Whether you love us or hate us, we'd love to hear what you think and give us some feedback. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can get a new episode the moment you wake up.
Because we're on a roll. I don't even know how many Wednesdays in a row this is now. This
is 4, 5. It's the entire year. That's all I can tell you. So thank you guys, and we will talk to you next time.
Bye.
Visit our website to join the conversation. That's vetscafe.com, vetscafe.com.